Hello everybody and welcome to the Back to Dials X-Wing stream. Tonight here from Collectormania. My name is Asagraph and I will be your host, at least for the time being. We're going to be cycling through a bunch of people here, I assume. Adam Kattnig is actually out playing on the table versus Anthony, one of our locals, and we have two duelists right here. Adam on the left-hand side is flying his, calls it Burger Time, a 2 A-Wing to X-Wing Resistance list. With Lulo Limpar, Taliesin Lintra, Ello and Nien. This is a really scary one. I've been playing against it, of course, for a couple of weeks now. It's pretty scary, and it has only gotten better with the points changes. It's come up just a little bit in price with some of those trick shots, but everything still fits. Black One still fits. All four of those ships still fit with Trick Shot and Heroic. Oh, Tallie should have Heroic there as well. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. My apologies. And then on the right-hand side, Anthony is flying a list, I believe, that is designed merely to troll me, considering how many Mining Guild ties are in that. So he is flying Han Solo with a, there's Trick Shot in, or there's Heroic in there. They're perfect. He's flying Han Solo in an autopilot drone. There's a bunch of upgrades on that Han. We have Swarm Tactics, Greedo, Rigged Cargo Chute, Tactical Scrambler, and Lando's Millennium Falcon, as well as 4 Mining Guild ties, all 4 of the named Mining Guild ties in there. So before we get to this game, we have some questions here as they're setting up. We're talking about, of course, today is the day, the sort of first day that we're able to play after the big old points changes. So Ryan has Ryan Fish in the chat has a question here. Can you talk about how terrible the E-Wing's linked actions are and why no one flies it? So let's talk about that for just a second, because the E-Wings did, of course, get pulled down by just a little bit, I say just a little bit, but of course it was a huge amount, around 8 points overall. But and yet some people seem to think that the E-Wing still won't be flown. And Ryan, I actually sort of agree with you. The E-Wing has linked actions barrel roll and boost both into target lock, red target lock, as opposed to barrel and roll and boost right into focus, which is suitable for ordnance, and with the proton torpedo change up, they still gain a couple points, so they're still cheap enough to fly 3 of those E-Wings with proton torpedoes in there, which makes them fine for an alpha strike. However, on that alpha strike, you might want to roll or boost to get position, and you cannot do that with a focus as well. You can only be doing that with a target lock. So you can do it to come around and regain your target lock, but you can't boost focus, disengage for defense. You can't barrel roll focus for, any sort of, for lack of a better word, flexibility in there as you move forward, which is unfortunate. Okay, the timer is starting right now. Let me go ahead and get that going. 75 minutes on the clock as Adam and Anthony go and duke this out. So we also have some questions in the chat about supernatural reflexes. Deviant MI says they think they sit too supernatural, a little hard, possibly should have topped out 24, but I love the sliding scale. Deviant, I actually agree with that pretty much to the letter. The sliding scale is an excellent way of doing that, but it went so far up that it is difficult to justify it on anybody except for maybe those little I3 Inquisitors. Anthony starting off with the Mining Guild ties here coming out. I believe here. I'm going to figure out exactly which ones those are. That'll be Overseer Yushin going out first because he's the lowest initiative value right there. And if you give me one moment, I'll figure out exactly where those ties are. Captain Seaver moving out there next. So Captain Seaver is that second in the line from the top there. All right, so we got there. Ahav is the one who is moving now. Anthony deployed in a very flexible deployment right there. Now he's able to turn all of his TIE fighters to come in with a block. Han Solo up there, interestingly, not with trick shot, his sort of staple there to give him some extra dice through the rocks, using swarm tactics to have those little mining guild ties there shoot first. So let's take a look at some of these interesting cards here, because I, at least, am very not sure about some of these mining guild ties. So Overseer Yushin right there. Before a friendly ship at range 1 would gain a disarm token. If that ship is not stressed, you may spend 1 charge, and they do not. Of course, that will, I think it is Foreman Proach. Yes, it is Foreman Proach who will synergize with that. Before you engage, you can bullseye somebody and tractor somebody unless they gain a disarm. So those two work very well together. Of course, Seaver is Seaver, able to really screw some people up. So here comes Adam's list, going in hard on the bottom with those A-wings with what looked like 4 straight forward, following the X-wings following them again. Again, in chat, if you have any questions, want to hear me talk about, want to hear my opinions on just about anything about these new point changes, let me know. Back to Supernatural Reflexes a little bit. Supernatural Reflexes is interesting because it definitely, I believe, hurt Vader a little bit more. Vader and Kylo specifically just a little bit more. And this might sound a little bit butthurt because I am definitely a lover of Darth Vader. That sounded really weird. I definitely love to fly Darth Vader. However, Darth Vader was the only Initiative 6 ace, right? He still is the only Initiative 6 ace right now that can take Supernatural Reflexes. And part of me thinks that the reason Supernatural Reflexes went up so much is in part because of Anakin Skywalker coming out later here in the Republic, so that there's not 2 Initiative 6 aces that can abuse that. Can abuse that upgrade a lot. 24 points, I think, would have been even still a little bit high, but probably still fine for Vader, especially with the other decreases to his staple upgrades, things like afterburners, things like fire control system, and a 5-point decrease to the platform itself. It is interesting that it went down for the lower initiatives too, and I'd like to hear if you in the chat think that there's a better place on the lower initiative pilots than the little Initiative 3 Inquisitors, maybe. Let me know. Let me know. That would be really interesting to hear. Grumpy Grandpa 76, perfect, asked, how about Predictive Shot and FCS on Vader as an alternative for Supernatural? Predictive Shot, if we can remember. Predictive Shot is right there. After you declare an attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may spend 1 force. If you do during the roll defense dice step, the defender cannot roll more defense dice than the number of your hit and crit results. Which I like. I like that idea. However, if Vader is doing very well, then he might be, rolling 4 hits and crits, and then you're still rolling your amount of your exact same amount of dice, which I sort of like. I would rather see him with something like Hate. I think Hate works. Mega Silver, I think, agrees with me. Hate is, I think, a better upgrade with him. I think right now, keep him cheap is where I want to go. Keep him cheap, something like Afterburners and Fire Control System. Maybe not even a Force upgrade, because Afterburners and Fire Control System itself is just 73 points on Vader's chassis, and now he pairs very well with a couple different things. I've been experimenting list building with Defenders, a Vessery. He actually fits in there with an Aggressor, with somebody like Double Edge to provide a second target lock for him, and can provide a lot of fire support. Okay, so let's look back at this game for just a moment here. Anthony banking his mining guild ties in hard there. 3 banks from Overseer Yushin. 3 bank there from, I believe that is Captain Seaver. That'll be Captain Seaver there, moving in 3 bank. The traditional block with Han moving in right behind. I assume Han will take something like a 4 straight down the middle just to get in and really force Adam's hand right there. Adam, on the other hand, is lining up for a joust right there, which is normally a strong suit of the list that he's flying. However, with those TIE fighters and Han Solo right there firing before him and screwing up a lot of his action economy and the advantages that those X-Wings and A-Wings can give him, this might be kind of a tough sell to win this joust right here. But if you have a different idea in the chat, of course, let me know. And thank you again for tuning into this stream. We are at Collectormania in Parker, Colorado. This is sort of our weekly friendly local gaming store here, where we come every Tuesday night to play some X-Wing. We're looking at getting weekly streams set up for X-Wing here, trying to experiment with new things. So right now, we don't have anything new and exciting on this stream right now, but next week we're going to start to experiment with a couple new things. So it's going to be sort of a regular weekly stream with an irregular start time sometimes. All right, that A-Wing turning in 1 hard. He will barrel roll back. And then using those refined gyro stabilizers to boost right there, lining up right for a joust. Ryan Fish has another suggestion. Kylo with instinctive aim, protons, and primed thrusters. I want to circle back to that a little bit because those silencers came down, and there's some good things about that. But first, let's keep looking at this game here. Now, is that A-Wing going to flank? The other A-Wing on the bottom right there, is he going to flank or going to be coming right in for the joust as well? Nien will go straight and take a focus right there. Tallie coming in with a 1 hard turn, following Lulo up towards the center of the board. Ryan, I agree with you. The new A-Wings are incredibly fun to fly. They're the only part of the Resistance faction, actually, that really, well, you know, those X-Wings actually look pretty fun, too. I'm slowly, I feel like, being convinced to fly Resistance because of how fun those A-Wings look. There is a boost with the refined gyro stabilizers. And then Ello, I believe, is going to follow his friend Nien. Ello there, yep, a 4 straight, getting out ahead of Nien just a little bit. And he is going to boost, aim himself right at those TIE fighters. Now, I'm not quite sure about that. I believe that maybe boosting straight and then turning in next turn to get a little bit more of a flank might have been more useful, but we will see. We will see. The mind of Adam. Adam has been working on this list and flying it for a lot longer than I've been commentating it. So we'll be able to see if that pays off for him. A 1 straight from Han, a lot slower there. Could he be perhaps setting up for something different? His arcs, by the way, are facing forward and backwards, so he's poised to just kind of shoot in towards the center of the board, although that large asteroid in the middle right there is sort of encroaching on his space just a little bit, preventing a straight shot, so he's going to have to turn in or out a little bit to see what's going on. Now, are we playing extended or hyperspace? Asks Grumpy Grandpa. It looks like we are playing extended. There is no restriction on here, although Adam Kattnig's list is hyperspace legal. I am not sure that Anthony's list is, because I believe Swarm Tactics, Greedo, Rigged Cargo Chute, maybe, well, I think Rigged Cargo Chute is in the Falcon pack, but I believe Greedo and Tactical Scrambler are not. If I am wrong, let me know, but we are not technically playing hyperspace, although the Resistance is very well poised to do both extended and hyperspace. So the one thing that I haven't really mentioned so far with the points changes here is Rebel stuff, because I am not really a Rebel fan. So if you want to tell me, Deviant Am I in the chat is telling us that he really likes the Rebel stuff, which I think is probably where a lot of people are going. So many things got brought down, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first, I want to circle back to Ryan's assertion about Kylo, instinctive aim, protons, and primed thrusters. So last week, Corey, one of the players who is standing to my left playing a game right now, flew something fairly interesting. There was Kylo and Blackout with some targeting synchronizers and proton torpedoes, able to share their target locks across the whole squad. I can't talk tonight. Across the entire squad, with those. With the flexibility of that, it actually was pretty powerful. Kylo gets a lot of force in order to modify those proton torpedoes. Blackout, of course, being able to fire through a rock and decrease the opponent's agility, being able to land those proton torpedoes a little bit harder. And the synchronized targeting synchronizers was a really cool thing to spread out the target locks that you could acquire and have a lot of flexibility for different ships. Now, Kylo conceivably could use a targeting synchronizer and instinctive aim in concert to give himself flexible proton torpedoes, as well as his buddy Blackout, for example. And then Blackout might not have to use the targeting synchronizer himself. He could use, say, weapons guidance or pattern analyzer or something else to give him a little bit more flexibility, whereas Kylo is, because of his force, sort of the AWACS ship in that squadron, for lack of a better term. Okay, so now we get to round 3 here. Anthony's TIE Fighters squeaking forward just a little bit there. There goes Overseer Yushin going too straight forward. Now let's remind ourselves, since he is flying the TIE Fighters there, let's remind ourselves, or remind myself, exactly what Overseer's ability is right there. He is the disarm token. If he is not, before a friendly ship with range 1, gain the disarm token. If it's not stressed, you can remove that disarm token. And Ahav, this is, I admit, mostly for myself, because I don't like the Mining Guild ties. Well, you defend or perform an attack if the enemy ship is larger size than you. Roll 1 additional die. So that is not going to be relevant at all in this game. But here comes Captain Seavor, I believe, 2 straight there, right onto a rock. So let's see. Unfortunately, no damage because of Mining Guild ties. Ignore those rocks. John Ben Young asks, why are we not able to fly 5X? I don't know. I am still a little bit sad about that. They gave it to us, and then they took it away, which is quite unfortunate. But the Empire can fly very excellent 5 3-dice attack, 5 3-dice attack lists. So we might be able to see, some of that stuff coming up in the future here. Some of those lists are actually very, very good. Things like 5 Alpha Squadron Interceptors can be flown, or 4 in Captain Sloan. You can get a bunch of strikers in there. You can even fly 5 Alphas and Wampa for 6 3-dice attacks in the same list, and you can fly that one with strikers and hyperspace. There's a 2 straight and a barrel roll from, I believe that is Ahav, on the back rank there. I might be getting this wrong. And then a 2 straight, and clear that with Foreman Proach. In a perfect finger 4 formation. Now, we'll see where Han goes, because that is sort of the unknown right here, if Han can bring his firepower to bear on this as well, on Adam's squadron. He did do an action. He said he did not do an action because he barrel rolled. Now we're looking at Ahav there, or Foreman Proach, sorry, who will get the focus. We actually errantly put the focus on the barrel rolling Ahav. John Ben Young, I hear you. Let me know, everybody, if audio is struggling. I know the internet connection here isn't the best, so I know we're getting a couple frame drops, but let me know if the audio struggles along with that. Mazerim, or Mazerim, if I pronounced that right, please let me know. If I did not, please let me know as well. Says, we'll think we'll see more outmaneuver on ships because of the possible Rebel Falcon emergence, and because it's 6 points now instead of 8. I will circle back around to that as soon as we are done with this turn, because I think you have a very good point right there. There we have Lulo with a 3-bank focus and refined gyro stabilizers boost, looking to go perhaps block Han. An interesting move right there. Of course, if Han now gets the extra die against Lulo, if he rocks up at range 1. But we'll see if that pays off. Nien next. Nien with a hard 3. If this foils were closed, he could potentially barrel roll out of there. But as we... Let's see, is Adam contemplating a black 1 maneuver? He is slamming. He is using that black 1 title. Let's see. I can't see a great use for it, but let's see. Oh, here's a 3-bank? Interesting. Black 1 slam right there. Now, black 1 does not allow you to take another action after that, which is unfortunate. An interesting maneuver choice right there. I am not sure that I would have done the same thing. Puts him right in front of the that entire formation of ties right there. It does line him up for a really nice next turn, but we will see. We will see if it pays off, I guess. Yeah, perhaps he is going all in on Han, but that's an interesting angle to do so on. Oh, Asti closed S foils before activating. 1 bank, then focus, linked it to roll in order to barrel roll out of all but one of those TIE Fighters arcs. Very solid maneuver there from Ello Asti, and then Tallie. We'll just do a 2 bank right there. Let's see what Tallie is doing. I assume a focus, maybe a... unfortunately, we cannot focus roll right there, but a focus is probably pretty solid. She's in an all right position, actually, to then turn pilot left, bank pilot left after in the next round, slot past a lot of those TIE Fighters, and rotate arc backwards, go after Han. In fact, a boost to the left right there would be a strong indicator for that direction. In fact, that is exactly what Tallie is doing right there. Focus boost left. It's quite a shame that those A-Wings can't actually do a focus and then barrel roll. A 1 straight from that Falcon. No block on Lulo. We're going to see some real carnage here. And I believe Nien is also likely out of arc right there. Not quite there. Han will have an excellent shot on both Lulo and Nien Num. A very favorable position for Anthony here for the first round of combat, but we will see how that goes in just a moment. Han focusing. All right, we move to the engagement phase. Han's arc is forward. We have a range 1 shot onto Lulo, measuring arc to Nien. That is a range 1 obstructed to Nien. Now Han Solo, of course. After you roll, that is the wrong Han Solo. We have the Han Solo right here. I will, man. There it is. Will defend a primary attack. If it is obstructed, you may roll 1 additional attack die. What does Greedo do again? What does Greedo do again? Greedo, while you perform an attack, you may spend a charge to change a hit to a crit, and while you defend, if your charge is active, the attacker can change a hit to a crit. So a more elegant way of wording first edition Greedo. Now here comes Han, range 1 into Nien. Spending Greedo, changing that hit to a crit. Let's see what we actually have in there. 2 crits. Nien rolls 1 evade, 1 shield down on Nien Num. Nien has no shot. We're going to take Lulo. No shot from Tallie. Lulo, range 1 into Han. She's stressed, so 4 dice are rolled. There's a big hit right there. We are focusing for at least 4 paint. 3 and a crit. Han rolls 1 green and gets an evade, so 3 shields down on Han. All shields down. So it looks like we are flipping 2 shields off the autopilot drone and 1. Yep, 2 shields on drone, 1 onto Han. So Han is at 2 shields. The drone is on 1, using the Lando's Falcon title. Ello, range 2. Bullseye in arc against a Hav. The bullseye is important because then the restriction on the S-foils does not matter when you are bullseyed. Spending that focus. Adam with some big hits. 3 hits against a Hav with no tokens. We have 1, 2 evades. A Hav will take 1 hull. 1 hull on a Hav. Thank you, X-Wing Junkies, for hosting the stream. Foreman approach. Interesting. Foreman approach. Initiative 4. I deserve all the flack that I'm about to get in chat for that. Foreman Approach is a bullseye. Foreman Approach's ability works in the bullseye, so it does not work right there. We're checking arc from Foreman Approach to Nien. Looks like it's called. It just barely nicks Nien at range 2. All right. Foreman Approach shot at Nien. We have 1 and a focus. Spend that focus for 2 hits. Nien rolling 2. We have 2 evades. Natties and Nien walks away scot-free. And of course, who's that? Stever right there cannot shoot because he's on the asteroid. You can ignore the asteroid while you are moving, but you can't ignore it when you shoot. Checking arc then from Ahav and Overseer Yushin to see if we can also fire at Nien. Grabbing that laser Adam, doing some amazing dance moves. Lightsaber range ruler right there. Let's see what this call is. Looks like that laser might be curved a little. Those cheap, especially the cheap Harbor Freight laser lines can often do that. That is a curve. Always use the range ruler. Lasers are really good for approximating, but never perfect for making a tight call right there because of things like that. So we're going to be firing at Ello with Ahav there in the back. 1 hit. Ello out at range 3. There's at least 1 evade in there. Gets away scot-free. And then that's Overseer Yushin. Range 1 into Nien. And there's a big 3 paint. Spend that focus. 3 hits. Dodged 1, so Nien will take 2 shields. And his shields are down. Everybody has fired. And so we are back to dials right here. Now, this is an interesting situation. Adam now not taking quite as much damage on Nien as I expected, but certainly more than he wanted. Now we'll have a good chance to claw back some positioning, I think. Ello being in a great position there, able to maybe 1 bank into the left with closed S foils if he wants to barrel roll out. If he wants to barrel roll out afterwards, that is pretty solid. Ello with a good flanking position. Lulo in position as well to do a maneuver up to lift, like a slow 2-bank maybe barrel roll, and then rotate that arc to the back to get some rear arc shots. Tallie with a block on the Han, and then Nien could possibly K-turn right there, boost in and boost in with that pattern analyzer, and still get his ability to go off if he's able to get closer to Han. Now, with that said, Anthony is in sort of a similar position. Notably, did forget to use swarm tactics that last round. Not quite sure if that would have done much, because I think the only ship at range 1 right there is Seaver, who was on a rock. Maybe Foreman Approach, but we will see. I'm not sure. about that. Han's an interesting position. I could possibly see a 3-bank down towards the bottom of the board, fire towards the rear, and just damn the rock, take a hit off the top of that. We will see what happens here as we set our dial. So let's circle back a little bit, because a couple of you brought up some points while we were looking at that game. Now that we are 43 minutes left in the round, I want to circle back to Maze Rim's point right there. I think we'll see more outmaneuver on ships because of the possible Rebel Falcon reemergence, and because it's 6 points now instead of 8. Now, outmaneuver. Let's remind ourselves exactly of what that says. Outmaneuver, while you perform a primary arc attack, if you are not in the defender's firing arc, the defender rolls 1 fewer defense dice. Now, that does include the rotating firing arcs. So it just says firing arc, so that 180 degrees on the Slavers, the YV666, the rotating, perhaps sideways Falcon arcs do cover a lot of space. They do have a lot of potential to catch that outmaneuver out. But I think the points decrease is really important. I really like the idea of that on Sabers. I'm trying to find a good place to put those. But as I'm experimenting, you can fit a shuttle with Sloan, 2 Alphas, and 2 Sabers without maneuver, I believe. I'm still experimenting on where exactly to put those. But you can fit a lot of stuff in there and still get going. Okay, so we have the game coming back now. Overseer Yushin doing a 3-turn in, chasing the A-Wings. No action from Overseer Yushin, as there's a slight bump right there. Now we have Captain Seaver. Captain Seaver's going to do a 1 hard turn right there. Bumping Han just a little bit. That is totally fine. Is he going to fit? That is the question. Not quite, and he will bump and remain on that rock. Grumpy Grandpa asking in the chat there, thoughts on the changes to the Phantom? It's interesting. I think I might circle back to that next round if we don't have enough time. Essentially, I think the gunner change is is fairly necessary. I think that is, of course, the biggest one, and it definitely makes a big difference. And due to the Empire's lack of gunners, lack of great gunners, it is definitely a far more detrimental change than it might otherwise be. However, I think the Phantom is still very good. I think Echo with Fifth Brother is really solid, still very points efficient, and those little guys, the Sigmas, I believe, the Sigmas you can still fly 3 of those with Juke and 1 with Crack Shot, and I think that list still definitely has some legs. 2 3K turns there with the other TIE fighters. Interesting sort of splitting the fire here. Ahav and Foreman Proach coming back. So interestingly, splitting Foreman Proach and Overseer Yushin, pulling apart their synergies. Ello here is going to activate, flipping the S-foils to close them, to open them, most likely doing a banking maneuver right here. Gotta open those physically. Joining me in the room right now is Ben Hamer, longtime somebody here at Back to Dials. He's commented with me before. Welcome, Ben. Thank you for joining me.
Long-time somebody, huh?
A long-time somebody, yes.
I don't even get the title of friend. Is that what you're
you
telling me?
are a friend, I guess.
I guess. Hi. I'm happy to be here. I'm less happy after that intro. What do we got going here?
We have Adam is facing Anthony right there. Adam with his constant four ship list versus Anthony has a ton of mining guild ties, and Han Solo.
Okay,
right
cool.
there.
I wanted to fly this list, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
How
All
are
right,
you,
marking
Asa?
Han because looks like Lulo is taking a 3-turn, which does not look like it will clear.
No, sir. How are you, Asa?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Having some good discussions here in the chat about some of the points changes that we're all finding very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Ben, we might get you on stream a little bit later because I feel like you have some you've had some ideas in our local chat.
Yes. I have not had time. Let me rephrase. I did not have time today to put a new list in my box, so I still have my usual list that gained 2 points worth of trick shots and then lost 2 points of engine upgrade and sits exactly where it was before.
That was the Ray and 2 A-wings.
Yeah. So that's all I was able to bring today. Maybe I'll steal some stuff from you and fly one of my new lists. But
Oh, I've only built Empire lists, so.
oh no, I mean steal your ships. I have lists.
So Grumpy Grandpa in chat mentioning they dropped the crew slot off of Lebo. So let's talk about these a little bit. Some of these large base ship changes.
Angry.
Yeah.
So far beyond angry that Lebo lost the thing that makes him functional.
So was Lebo with C-3PO really the only thing that you could do right there?
I mean, okay, look. Getting your calculates back after you defend is really cool. But it was even cooler when you could do that with C-3PO's ability. And because of this combo, they took away only Lebo's crew slot because it was, what, a combo that dominated the meta?
You know what? They took away the Phantom's crew slot because that was a combo that dominated the meta.
It did dominate the meta, but Lebo wasn't even in the meta, and that ship wasn't even in the... Well, that's not true.
Yeah, that is not true.
But that pilot and that combo... They were like staring in the window of the meta, being like, man, I sure wish I could be in there. And then right as they were about to walk through the door, FFG ripped the rug out from under him and he fell. So I'm angry.
Angry about that, I see. So real fast, we have an Adam Kattnig bump train right here. Nien has bumped into Lulo, and Tallie has bumped into Nien. Those TIE fighters are hot on the tail, but let's see where Han is going right here. Looks like actually Han has bumped as well.
You'll have to excuse this sound for a moment as I move my whole mic over closer to the screen so I can see what's happening. All right. Now Asa and I are all nice and cozy. We're shoulder to shoulder. I feel warm.
Hello, Ben. Okay, so we have obviously a lot of stuff going on right now. We have what looks like a ranged 2 shot from Han right there.
And it looks like only 1 hit coming out of that with, I see some paint. 2 of
aids. Nien, I'm on fire. They're taking nothing. It was a range 1, but of course Han is not getting his obstruction or stress bonuses right there. Lulo's got no shot because she is bumped. Let's see if Nien can put some natural hurt onto Han.
Lulo is a man.
My apologies. Nien, range 1 onto Han. There's a lot of paint for an unmodified shot. 2 hits and a crit.
And it looks like that last one was a focus into 1 evade.
Yep. 1 evade, so the last 2 shields off of Han are down.
That's some hurt. Is that including the escape craft shields here?
Yes, that is including the escape craft shields, which he dumped last turn. Measuring arc for Tallie Lintra.
Looks like not quite there, but I can't quite tell from our angle. I see a lovely view of the back.
Range 1
of
looks
heads.
like it was called in arc. Looks like it was called in arc and range 1.
I see
there's a lot of
more paint
there, but it looks like a lot of focuses.
Ooh.
Indeed, nothing from Tallie's
That is absolutely not what you want unmodified when you have heroic.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna miss, go for the full miss.
Go for the true miss, right? Ello firing range 1 onto a Hav.
I see. Looks like
We've got hit crit.
Oh, hit crit.
There's a focus in there too. Of course, no focus token.
And it's a TIE fighter, so...
Ahav
ooh.
will roll nothing, and that is the end of Ahav. Let's see what that crit is.
I like to watch Mining Guild ties die.
It looks a structural damage on Ahav. And he is down. I, too, like to watch Mining Guild ties die.
So it looks like that is first blood, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Here.
First blood to Adam. After an interesting first round, which I definitely think that he recovered from all right, thanks to a splitting of Anthony's TIE fighters, moving Proch and Yushin away from each other and letting Ello get some uncontested shots there. There is Foreman Proch taking a range 1 shot back at Echo. With one crit. Sorry, one Ello.
One Ello. Not two Ellos.
Not two Ellos.
The one
right
Ello. Yeah, looks like we got... Here's the 2 green dice coming back. Looks like a lot of
blank
nothing.
And no heroic on Echo. Not quite enough points right there.
Ello.
So a crit comes... excuse me.
It
Crit comes into the shields onto Ello Asti.
It hurts the Beastie Boys every time you say Ello's name wrong. By the way, for anybody who is not already aware of this, which I'm sure was just me, Ello Asti is totally a Beastie Boys joke because J.J. Abrams is obsessed with the Beastie Boys.
Because Hello Nasty and his subtitle is Born to Ill. It's perfect.
Which, yeah, for a while we all said that was
there's
a typo.
range. There's a 3-hit shot from Overseer Yushin.
I see 2 paints on that A-Wing.
But they're both focuses, so Tallie is going to take...
More
2
of that,
shields and a hull damage.
More of that heroic nightmare there. I cannot tell you how many times I've had both of my A-Wings survive the rest of the game at 1 hull after a shot like that, though. It is... Those things are really nasty once they're quote-unquote on the back foot.
Yep.
Once they've got that arc turned around and they get really hard to take down.
And there's Adam's piece de resistance, a... little fire coming from Tallie right there. I like that. Perfect. Perfect. So that, I believe, was the final shot of that game, Overseer Yushin being the last in the firing order. So right here at this instance, considering where everybody is and how hurt Tallie and Nien actually are, who do you think has the advantage? I know you're coming in kind of late here to the game.
Yeah, so just based on positioning alone... Anthony is in a really good spot to get pretty much completely behind Adam's squadron and force them to either, K-turn, Talon roll, or just start flipping arcs and stressing themselves. So I think, and plus, it is all asteroids on the field, it looks like.
It's such a tight field right there. There's a couple debris. There's one down the bottom right. There's one up at the top. But it's pretty tight. In any case.
So even after losing that TIE fighter, my money here is still on Anthony in terms of positioning, but we'll see. Because as I said, I've had those A-Wings survive a lot.
Sure. I mean, considering how much damage Tallie just took right there, I might agree with you. Although, with that said, Ello is also in a very good a very solid flanking position. Right
that
there,
is true.
In order to come in and plink a few ties or put some real damage to Han. Han's down to hull right now. Nien, even though it looks like he might, if he K-turns right there, could hit that debris. Doesn't matter because he's going to be at range 1 in Arc of Han.
Well, that's not... is that debris? I can't tell.
That is debris,
okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Nien's in a decent spot to K-turn here. The problem with that is that if he wants to turn around, that K-turn is the only move he can do, and that makes it predictable.
Fair enough. That said, the predictable move is sometimes the correct one if you can't respond to it.
True.
Which I don't think that Anthony is in a great place to do.
That depends on where this Han ends up, and in particular which direction his arc is facing, which
Forward
I
and
can't
backward.
tell here.
Yeah, forward and backward.
So that's, he's in an okay position to respond to that.
Han is probably going to have to turn.
Well, with a right bank, to just get that back arc on Nien or even on Tallie, who he could kind of hope to take down here, depending on where she goes. As I said, she can be really hard to take down when she puts her mind to it.
That is definitely true. Okay, so while they finish setting their dials, some points changes. Ben, I am mostly an Imperial player. Talked about Vader a little bit. Talked about supernatural reflexes already. As somebody who rolls with resistance a lot more, what are you looking at with great hungry eyes?
So, yes, I roll with resistance because resistance had the best Falcon up until now. I roll with Falcon. Where the Falcon is, I am.
Okay, so where's the Falcon going now?
So, I still think that my Ray Wings list can be pretty strong, and I want to get some testing in with that. But I had been flying a lot of Lando even before this points change. So now that he has had
Lando was very good.
A whopping 12 points knocked off of his cost, I have so much more room to play with that ship.
I'm kind of looking at that with what exactly am I trying to say here? With perhaps a little bit of cautious optimism. It's very, very good, and Lando and Nien has been a fantastic combo.
Nien
Num,
crew,
not Nien Nunb.
You know that Nien Nunb and Nien Num pilot are the same thing, right?
Yes,
same person.
I do.
So
because it's Nien, not Nien.
Well, yeah, so I don't know why you're... Anyway.
Because one's resistance. But
they're both the same character.
I think that's really solid because he can give his ability to himself, and now you have a Falcon that gets target lock focus every turn, gets boost plus a modifier every turn.
Yeah, well, and it's... and what I found in some earlier games back before these two ships lost their point costs was... or lost some points... is I flew Lando Corrin for a little while, and that was surprisingly strong.
It was.
Even though
I remember that.
They were 2 I-5s, and they had no bid if you wanted munitions. It sat at 200 even. So that did hurt it a little bit. But
now you have a 12-point bid.
Well, yeah, now I have a lot more points to play with. Lando's ability kind of gave Corrin the tokens that he was missing from losing access to PTL, because that link reposition target lock isn't super valuable when you're using those repositions to get into range 1.
So a question to consider for the next planning phase is two ship lists. Are they really a thing? But first, let's talk about what we're seeing here. I think now that we've got a little bit more, we have Foreman Perch doing a 2-bank. We had some 2 straights from those other mining guild ties. Captain Seaver going through that rock and focusing, and then who was that? I think that was Overseer Yushin. Yeah, Yushin going 2 straight as well, and then barrel rolling. Interesting positioning, not really pressing Adam there.
Yeah, that's not quite what I was expecting. It almost looks like Anthony is avoiding rocks, which
is odd with the mining guild ties. Once again, if you have thoughts on 2 ship lists, post them in the chat. We will get them. We will get back to them.
So I would like to come back to that because my new one is not a 2 ship list. Yes. But that barrel roll was a little odd to me. I don't know why he went to avoid that rock when that could actually be beneficial to him. Instead of taking a mod there.
For sure. I mean, especially with Yushin there, that 2 straight focus could have been a slashing hard turn, try to get out in front of some of those, maybe block somebody doing a slow maneuver. Because here comes Ello now. Ello's doing what looks like a 2 straight. 2 straight.
So he would have blocked Ello into him there too, so that he wouldn't be getting a modded shot here.
Yeah,
so
that was Proch who barrel rolled, I think, to block perhaps a different
either
maneuver?
That or to avoid Ello's arc, not expecting him to move in that fast.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure there.
Ello taking a target lock against Han. He's really going for Han. I think this is a prime time to do so, right?
Yeah.
Because Han is now somewhat without his escorts.
Right, and it could be that losing that TIE fighter so fast kind of put Anthony in fear of losing another. But that TIE fighter was really more of an attack of opportunity rather than a primary target. So I think that barrel roll was probably not the best move there, but we'll see how it pans out, because that puts him in an okay position to go after Lulo here. It looks
but
like
he's gonna be the only shot, perhaps. I mean, we'll
perhaps
see where
we'll
Han
see where
goes,
everyone
yeah.
else ends up. But
We'll see where Han goes. Lulo doing a 3 bank out there, clearing her stress. I assume a focus and rotating the arc. There we go. With refined gyro stabilizers, we're going to face that backwards.
Yeah, so it could be that he was kind of banking on Han taking Tallie down with one shot and having the TIE fighters shift targets to someone new.
But they're not able to focus from where they are.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Indeed.
But question, because I can't quite see the lists from here, but does Han have Kira?
Han does not. We have Swarm Tactics, Greedo, Raked Cargo Chute, Tactical Scrambler, and Lando's Falcon. There is that K-turn from Nien that we were discussing right on top of that debris.
So the important thing here is that it looks like it did, but if that K-turn had not landed him in range 1 of Han, he would take the debris stress and not get his pattern analyzer here. So it looks like he's still in that range 1, though. We'll see after they measure. Oh, it looks like they're just trusting it.
Yep.
So losing both of those stress tokens with Nien's ability looked like no damage from the debris. I see a target lock. I see some explanation of how Nien Num works.
His range 1 and arc, and then he is going to focus. That is extremely powerful. Now, part of me thinks that Nien might have been better served by boosting there to get off of the debris for next turn instead of taking the second modifier action.
I don't know. I think the double mod could be really powerful here if he's it doesn't look like, I can't quite see from here, but it doesn't look like Nien is forced to pass through it again. Or
I see a small, I see a little
actually,
hint of
I
it.
think that's an issue with the rules. A boost isn't allowed to overlap you.
Fair enough.
So I don't think
you
can boost off if you're set up like that.
Fair enough. That's actually a very good point. Plus, in theory, he could just clear it again if he rocks up to range 1 of Han. So it's really not that bad.
But I think it comes down to an issue of rules. I don't think even when you're Nien Num, I don't think you're allowed to take that boost because you're not allowed to overlap a rock with your boost.
Tallie doing a 1 hard there. We're going to focus and then use refined gyro stabilizers to rotate her arc backwards, looking to catch Seaver, perhaps, and anticipating a block on Han or Han moving quickly.
Right, yeah.
I really like Adam's positioning right here. He's got this kill box sort of set up.
It looks like he's hoping for probably a 3 bank from Han here.
And there's
looks like a
2 straight. Is that going to clear? It's going to be kind of close.
I think it clears, but that rock might catch his back corner.
Yeah. While we're marking that, Grumpy Grandpa in the chat is mentioning Wedge, Lando, and Dutch.
I like that.
A lot of action passing.
I also looked at Lando, Wedge, and Thane.
Sure.
That Wedge and Thane have to be naked, but they don't necessarily need upgrades. I don't think.
Grumpy Grandpa, what upgrades do you have on Dutch and Wedge there? Anything on Lando as well? Because that is kind of tight, but I know Dutch is cheaper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So the list that I was looking at is Lando, Corrin, and Arvil. Because of all the points that were lost on Lando Corrin, drop the 12 points worth of munitions off of Corrin because I don't know that it holds its value on a 3 primary ship.
And here's our answer right there. We did have a clear. That 2 bank cleared and sat right between those 2 rocks.
Yeah, that was very well placed, actually. And it set him up for a pretty good out next round.
I would agree. So he took a focus.
It also looks... Well, maybe I'm wrong here. It's possible that didn't quite catch into Tallie's back arc, but now that I'm looking closer at it,
I mean, Han just might smoke Tallie anyways.
That's true.
So we are using swarm tactics down. I believe that is Overseer Yushin down there at the bottom. So we're using swarm tactics on that. He can't engage, so he's got nobody to engage. So we're gonna just fire Han.
So the focus from Tallie here is actually kind of interesting to me because it looks like Adam is going for just hoping for aggression with the focus for an offensive mod, but if he's looking...
Oh, there's just a range 1 from Han, only 1 hit. That's probably not going to be enough to put Tallie down. And
yeah,
indeed,
so that
there's some
renders
paint.
that renders what I was about to say completely moot. But in that situation, I would have evaded because the math supports that anything under 4 dice and evade is better than
Sure.
a focus.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we have all of Adam's 5s going to be engaging right here. Grumpy Grandpa's list, Leia on Lando, Proton Torps on both Dutch and Wedge.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So that leaves, it sounds like that leaves Dutch without a turret, which is kind of risky. I think that torpedoes on a Y-wing are really only best included if you already have fit a turret into that.
Because you could fit the turret and the veteran turret gunner in there for less points.
Yeah, and that is a really valuable combo, especially...
how much is Nien?
Nien is 6, I want to say.
Let's find out.
But Leia crew just went down from 8 to 2, so that made her wildly valuable. And she's actually, in my Lando build, has now replaced Magva. Because I think she can be really valuable.
Nien is 5, so if you drop the... I was thinking if you drop the turret or the torpedoes, get a turret, veteran turret gunner, then you could also put Nien on there, but you can't.
Right, yeah.
Not quite.
But I think that combo is really valuable, especially now that both turrets have lost 2 points. They become really easy to include for that combination.
Range 2 from Lulo, firing out the rear arc onto Han.
Looks like unobstructed to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unobstructed stress, so Lulu will roll the extra die. There's a lot of paint right there. We're going to spend that focus token for 3 hits.
And nothing on Han.
Nothing, so 3 hull down. Puts him to 5 hull. Ello and Nien could put this down.
Yeah, did he already take a shot with Tallie?
I did not see. I might not have caught that.
I don't see a spent focus, and with Heroic, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't have seen damage.
Although there is a crit there on Han that we missed, so it looks like we did miss something while we were talking right there. Do you mind, Ben, running out there seeing what we've got?
Yes, I will be right back.
Thank you. Now we've got Ello range 1, it looks like measured on the Han. 2 hits, 2 others. We will... The fuel leak is the crit on Han. Reroll there into 3 hits. This could be it if Han blanks out.
So we did miss a shot there. Han has...
Han has fuel leak.
Yeah. Oh, you already said that.
Yep,
okay.
And it looks like Han goes down. No, he's spending his focus. He only takes 2. Han survives on 1 hull.
And does Adam still have a shot left here?
Nien has not fired.
Yeah, so that Han is done for.
Yeah.
Unless Adam rolls blanks into blanks, which he has done, and I have laughed, but I'm pretty sure that Han is going down.
Yep. And it looks like we might have a range 3 right there, although I lost the room mic momentarily, so we're not sure. We will see what the dice are rolled. Can't see under Tallie's smoke. Looks like Tallie, because Tallie apparently did get a very good range 1 shot in there.
Yeah, and didn't have to spend that focus to do it, it looks like. So
Adam got some good dice going for him right here.
Yeah, he must be borrowing Sam Shepik's dice tonight, because...
Nien, there's the room right back. Nien range 2, and it looks like they called it not obstructed. There must be a corner peeking out right there. Hey, there's some paint. We'll just spend that focus for 2 hits and a crit. Han is going to go down no matter what he rolls.
Yep, so we'll just see what comes out of the damage deck here, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fuel leak,
is go off. Looks like he rolled nothing, so hit, crit. The fuel leak will go off. Crit is the console fire. Does not matter.
I'd like to rescind my earlier statement. Adam has the advantage here. Because Han is kind of the cornerstone of that list, and now it's just 3 TIE fighters and a 1 hull escape craft.
Adam was able to create a really nice kill box right there. All 4 of his ships had had Arc on Han. Han could have avoided a lot of that if he had
looks-
banked down towards the bottom of the board there.
It looks like we missed an escape craft deploy here.
Yes,
so they're
he is-
replacing
yes,
to
they're
try
replacing Han to get that autopilot
and
drone right
assuming that emergency deploy rules are still the same. That Han looks a little bit shifted over to me. He was a little.
Yeah,
He was set up to clear that
he
rock.
could clear that rock.
Yeah.
We'll see if they
Anyway.
call it.
But if escape or if emergency deploy. Oh my God, I'm so tired.
It's okay. I've been doing the
If
same
emergency deploy rules are the same as they were in 1.0, then that is a one hull
Yes.
autopilot drone.
I would believe so. Do you mind going and confirming there once we see that pop out?
I can just Google
You're
it.
closer to the door.
I'm also closer to my phone that has Google.
Fair enough. No, they suffer a crit, and there's the crit coming out.
Oh, it's a crit now.
Yes, they suffer the crit. It doesn't deal to shields like it did in first. It deal
didn't
through
deal.
shields.
It didn't. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
you
see.
would dealt a face-up damage card.
And I'm assuming
before
they
the
have
first
that
edition.
right because Anthony practically sleeps with that rulebook under his pillow.
Yep.
So.
Damaged engine is the crit on that autopilot drone.
So not the disaster it could have been with
Right.
a direct hit, which with my luck is what would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is now just 3 TIE fighters versus Adam's entire list.
Yeah.
So I don't really see this going great. I mean, it could. It very well could. But-
He's electing to deploy over that asteroid too. So
Which, with that missed Han replacement, I mean, that's what happens when you miss your triggers, I guess.
Yep.
But
So,
we'll see what
let's
happens.
see if that rolls, if that asteroid rolls in Adam's favor as well.
right.
I am
But yeah,
excited to see some mining guild ties die, though.
That was a really well set up kill box. And that's what those rear arcs on the A-wings will let you do. I am crazy about those rear arcs.
Adam is there it goes. There goes the autopilot drone too. Oh no, over that rock. Yeah, Anthony has just taken a sizable hit right there. I would not be surprised if he could get Tallie down, but I think that's about it. I think we're just on borrowed time here for the rest of these mining guild TIE fighters.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tallie might go down here. It's possible that if he takes Tallie down, he might get Lulo down as well, because with his ability, Lulo goes down pretty easy when flown incorrectly.
Yep.
Which it doesn't look like Adam's been flying him wrong, but
Oh no, Adam's been flying Lulo basically nonstop for the past month.
yeah,
Yeah.
as have I. Because Lulo is super good.
We have a range 2 shot from Foreman Proch onto Lulo. 1 crit in there. We have 1 evade. Lulo takes no damage. And then no shot from either of the other TIE fighters. They are facing the wrong way. Okay, back to Dials here with 11 minutes left in the round. Just under 11 minutes now as I count down live here on stream. So let's circle
That's actually
back.
the rest of the stream is Asa
Sure.
just counting
So
down
let's
the
circle
time.
back to a couple of the questions that we came up with before. 2 ship lists, Ben.
I still don't think they're going to be great, especially with a lot of stuff got some point drops to allow for more ships in a single list in a lot of cases. So I still think 2 ship lists are going to struggle a lot. But I think 3 ship lists with a beefy large base could actually be pretty good.
And we're talking mostly here about Falcons.
I mean, mostly
right?
Falcons, yeah, although I think the Outrider might be a contender now with
Mm-hmm.
some of those points drops, because Dash lost 8 points, Lebo lost...
Yeah, but he also lost the crew.
did, and I'm so angry. But I'm going to fly him anyway without that crew, and we'll see how it goes. But FFG, if you're listening, that was the one trick Lebo had, and you took it away. I look. It was a good combo.
Because we decided Rebels can't have nice things.
I know. Well, Rebels have lots of nice things
Well, they
now.
do now,
Let's
right?
be real.
Okay, so so talking about that,
I just
like
don't understand the reasoning. He wasn't in the
related.
meta.
How about the Lancer? Because
The
that came down
Lancer.
significantly too.
Yeah, so I think Asajj might have a fighting chance now, especially with that that new force upgrade, is it called Rage? Hate.
Yes, I was
actually
looking
think
at that too.
Hate could be pretty good on her.
Asajj with Hate and Maul.
Yeah, and I mean, I've flown Asajj with Maul crew before, and I just thought that she was a little too expensive to be viable. But I think Asajj with something like a mini swarm with these new mining guild ties or something like that is viable. Like I said, I still don't think 2-ship lists are going to come back in any significant way in this.
Can you
fit
Asajj and Han? Because
Well,
Asajj with a stress control from Han could be very solid.
Well, yeah, so you could before, because that was actually how I flew her. I flew Asajj Han back in the beginning when 2.0 first dropped, and I liked it, but like I said, I couldn't fit the nice things I wanted because of the point restrictions. So, and Asajj lost some points, yeah, but those points are made up for in the escape craft. So I still don't think that those 2 ships can have all the nice things they want.
Sure, that's fair enough. I agree with that. There's also not really a great way yet for Asajj to really utilize her dial. Once an upgrade like that comes out, I think that she'll be a lot better, right? Being able to leverage that stress clearing a lot more like she used to do in first edition.
Well, yeah, and to that point though, I'm interested to see if stress control comes out in any sort of way, because that could actually make Asajj really good as well. If, say, Phasma comes into the meta in any significant way, or other things that give stress that I'm sure exist.
I mean, we have things like BT or 000, right?
Yeah.
We have Sloanes.
Yeah, stuff like that where it's, take a stress or give me a calculate. Well, all of my fast maneuvers are green or blue, or what game do we play? So, I'll take the stress and not care.
So we have some speculative questions. Of course, we saw some Polish previews of Wave 3 from Poland. And there's some
we didn't see Polish previews from Germany.
And there's some questions in the chat here about Brilliant Evasion. That is the upcoming force upgrade where if you are not in the opponent's bullseye, you can spend one force token for 2 focus results on defense instead.
Yeah, so basically you become Discount Ezra.
Discount Ezra, exactly. So what can you do? Supposedly the math says it's terrible, Mega Silver says, and so we have some questions here about what do you think that might be costed?
I think probably inexpensive. It probably depends on your agility value. It'll probably be a scaling cost.
That's actually the exact thought that we had in the chat too. Mega Silver asked if it'll scale by initiative, and I think that's a really good way of doing it.
I don't think initiative, but I think
agility.
Evasion. Oh, so you just said it wrong.
Yes, I did.
Mega Silver. Asa's trying to make you look bad.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, because then you look at it as you put that on something like an Anakin or an Obi-Wan, and it becomes super not valuable, because it'll be costed as though you were a 3 agility ship, but if you're flying with the title, you're really a 2 agility ship. So, so I don't know.
That's an interesting one. I think there's going to be there's probably going to be more force upgrades coming out in that pack that we haven't seen yet anyways.
Right, and I'm hoping for some dark side stuff that makes maybe Maul's second ability.
Yeah, I feel like Hate should be a dark side upgrade.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is.
It is. Okay. Perfect. Good.
Yeah. Hate is the only dark side. Also, can we note? I get that any person who knows Star Wars would know. These pilots are dark side, so this is who can go on it. But could we have gotten some sort of symbol or something for players who maybe don't necessarily know?
No. Yep. That makes perfect sense, because Luke had some pretty strong emotions there sometimes.
I mean, if I were
Hate at one point.
If I were anybody, I would if I were any casual fan, I'd say that Anakin should be able to take Hate. So
exactly.
Yeah. So I
killed them all. I hate them. He hates sand.
Yeah,
he should be able to
only
use,
if you're fighting sand.
If you're on a desert map, if there's a Tatooine,
can we get a drifting sand obstacle?
Can we please get a Tatooine playmat?
Yes, and you're not allowed to fly Vader or Anakin if you're on that map.
Well, if you do, all of your force goes away.
You don't get any force tokens, but also the only upgrade you can take is Hate.
There's some stuff going on that I missed. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't want to make it seem like we're dismissing this game and talking about other stuff now.
But we kind of are. It looks like a TIE fighter just took a long shot there with no damage done, and we're back to dials.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to see a lot of Force stuff come out of there, because the Maul's ability, secondary ability, primary, I guess, because it's the first thing on the card, is interesting in that, hey, now pilots who couldn't normally can take dark side cards.
Right.
Except, let's look at the pilots who can use Maul. Asajj, who can already take dark side upgrades, and Ezra, who doesn't get flown.
Yep.
And I guess Kanan, who also doesn't get flown.
Ezra might be solid with hate. I think hate right now is probably the best lower cost Force upgrade.
The problem with Ezra is not his Force management; it is the lack of self-stressing.
Sure.
Without being forced to reposition.
Mm-hmm.
Because so on like an A-wing like Lulo, there's this fun little trick you can do where you focus and then to get your stress, you force a boost that won't make it. So you stay where you are, but you still get your stress. Ezra doesn't have that because his only linked action is barrel roll into red evade. So if he purposely fails the barrel roll, he doesn't get the red evade.
Right.
And maybe he's in a position where he doesn't want to change his position. So he doesn't have good access to self-stress. I don't like you. But so like the problem isn't his Force management, because he is Force management because he can use one token to change two things, but there's no good self-stress that goes into him. So
right. Well, we'll see. I think we're gonna see a lot more Force upgrades come out with Wave 3. So the Force sensitive pilots, and again, to circle back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, that's probably why they changed supernatural reflexes up so high.
No, it super is, because I was really looking forward to flying a supernatural Anakin and Obi-Wan together, and that's not going to be a thing.
Yep.
But maybe there'll be some
unless
really
that
cool...
platform's really cheap.
It won't be. I promise you it won't be. Or maybe the platform will be, but the title won't be, and the title is what you really want on aces like that. So maybe we'll get some cool upgrades out of it. I'm a little miffed about Supernatural. I agree that it needed a nerf, but come on. 24 points on Luke, 32 on Vader. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The only pilots where it's affordable are the ones that don't care about having that upgrade.
Yep. The Initiative 3 Inquisitors.
Yeah,
which are irrelevant anyways because it's a TIE V1.
Yeah, it's just
it is pretty crazy. Okay, let's look at this game a little bit more. 3 straight down there from Foreman Proach. I think that was Yushin. Yep, that was Yushin down there. Seaver coming in hard and then barrel rolling back down to try to catch some of these A-wings. Maybe put some last hurt on a Tallie, but again, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Foreman Proach banking 2 up towards the top of the board and barrel rolling again, trying to get maybe a block onto some of these X-wings.
Yeah. So I have a question. So let's say this is a tournament game, like a real tournament game, and you, Asa, are in this position. I know you would never fly 4 mounting guild ties, but let's say you're Anthony here.
Yep.
And your Han just went down, and your escape craft deployed to its death.
Yep.
Do you keep trying to get some kills in with your TIE fighters here, or do you just book it, evade, and try to preserve as many points as you can?
With let's say this was at the beginning of this round, right, with less than 5 minutes, not with the 30 seconds that we have left.
So let's say it's the 11 minutes where Han went down.
Sure, yeah. With Tallie on one hull, I think it's worth it to try to chase her because she's if you lose one TIE fighter and kill Tallie, that's still a bigger swing than if you just lose a TIE fighter while you're trying to run away.
You've already got 19 points on Tallie here with the half health. So losing a TIE fighter to finish Tallie is still a net loss for you because you're losing 24 points at least worth of TIE fighter to get 19 worth of Tallie. So I think book it and evade. Now,
should you try to go for Tallie and also plink a 1 hull onto Nien?
You would have to. Oh yeah, I mean possibly, but when it's 4 ships versus 3 here, and Adam was set up as well as he was, I don't know if that would be possible, and as we're seeing here, it wasn't.
Sure.
So,
well, I mean, there also could have been some. Well, we'll say some different choices that Anthony could have made there to
Right.
get the TIE fighters all back and focused, right?
True,
Because I think
yeah.
that's also part of the problem is that Yushin and Seaver were on the other side of the board doing nothing for a couple
I mean,
turns.
they put a little bit. Actually, no, they didn't even get anything in Ello. Yeah, they weren't really doing much. Especially Seavor, who just wants to be like in
always
it.
there,
Just-
right?
Yeah, just
Always there.
constantly present.
So Nien did not flip his S foils back open, which is unfortunate. But so he's still taking a range 1 shot right there, which is going to be just fine. But I really do think that if you're in Anthony's position, you really got to try to get some points onto the board. Because right now you only have 19. That's not really going to help you in MOV.
I mean, no, but I don't think anything is gonna help you. Well, trying to take, like I said, trying to take down those A-wings even at 1 hull is harder than you expect. And if you, let's say you even fail at it and lose a TIE fighter in the process,
All
like
right,
we might see
yep,
here.
Nien firing at Ahav there, or sorry, at approach range 1, unmodified, but doesn't really need to be. There's 2 hits going in there.
Yeah, so now if he doesn't, it looks like he doesn't have, it looks like he has 1 shot onto Tallie here probably. So now he's lost half a TIE fighter and probably won't take
He might
Tallie
not have
down.
any shots onto
Oh,
Tallie.
well, I think that TIE fighter up on the left, kind of
Approach.
in the center there at the top.
He's facing up towards the top of the board.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Yep.
So now he's
We have
lost
a
half
1
a TIE
shot from
fighter.
Seaver, and here comes Ello for the range 1 shot. Also a big hit. We have 3 hits and a blank, which we're going to target lock.
Yeah, so this is exactly what I was thinking.
And
is
that TIE fighter's going to go down.
Yeah, so he lost a TIE fighter in this fruitless pursuit. I get that you
But it
won't
doesn't
be
seem like he was
helped.
really pursuing. Like he
Well-
wasn't really pursuing with approach there. He was
I think he was just.
running to block.
I'm
I
not
don't know.
quite sure.
I'm not quite sure what
yeah.
the achievement is there. What
Yeah,
he was-
I'm
what he was
not-
looking to try- what
I
what
think
he
he
was looking
was-
to try to achieve.
Yeah, I really don't know. It's hard. It's hard when you're set up the way those ships were set up. It is hard as a TIE fighter to block 2 X-wings when you are their target.
Quick poll, Ben. How do you pronounce Nien?
Nien.
Nien.
It's
so
not 9.
Yen.
Yeah, it's Nien. If it were 9, the I would be after the E, like how you spell that.
But there's also 10 num. So there's
There
9
is
num
10
and there's
num.
10
I
num.
don't know,
9 and 10.
Wouldn't the, I mean, also we could just move the E after the N and boom, 9 num. But
No damage from Seaver Sod onto Lulo.
doesn't EI make the I sound?
It
I'm not an
does.
English teacher.
But is
yeah.
it Nien or Nien?
I think it's Nien.
Nien?
I've always said Nien.
Nien.
You know what? Does anybody ever speak his name ever in one of the movies?
I don't think so.
I know what I'm doing this weekend. I'm going to seek out any place.
No, you're
in
going to be
the
playing
OT
Kingdom Hearts
or
3.
the. I don't have any
And-
money
and
to
Dark
buy
Souls.
Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I
Playing
will be
Dark
playing Dark
Souls.
Souls. No, because I'm staying at my sister's place and didn't bring my PS. Oh, I have Dark
Switch.
Souls on Switch.
Yeah,
Never
you have
mind.
Dark Souls on You can play Dark Souls everywhere. And yeah, so you know.
So I'll probably go
Dark
play
Souls.
some Dark Souls. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna be
I'm
playing some
I'm
Dark
actually
Souls.
more on a comic
that
book
is going to
kick
be
right now.
time in the round. We have one last shot coming in here from Overseer Yushin, looking like Tallie.
You want to know
And
what?
2 natural evades. He didn't even get
Yeah.
that.
You want to know what really bothers me about Ten and Nien's names? Ten Numb. Numb is a word. I know how to pronounce that. Numb. How do I
Numb.
say? Is it none? Because with numb you say numb. So is it none? How do you say that name? The Nien is a debate. The none. That's just like a. That's not even a
Numb.
debate. That's just a. How do you do that?
Nyan.
Nyan.
Overseer Yushin going to focus, trying to get one last hit on.
Here's the real debate.
Nien,
Do you say Lulo or Lulo?
But no. Yeah, you say Lulo.
Nope,
no
it's Laulo.
damage.
When I'm trying to be pretentious, it's Laulo.
And that is the game. Adam comes away decisively 144 points to 19 here. In
Yeah,
this.
that was crazy.
I definitely think it was interesting because Anthony had a very good opening, but Adam managed to turn it around with a excellent kill box in the mid game.
And even from where I came in, that Han and those TIE fighters looked like they were in a good position. And then there were some odd turns and a weird barrel roll, and Han just got caught out on his own with no one to back him up.
Absolutely. So while we wait for this to get cleaned up, anything else that you want to talk about right now before because we're going to move on to the next game and, of course, have some more time to discuss points.
Falcon meta.
Falcon meta. Okay. Well, there you have it then. Some Falcon
Oh, no,
meta?
wait. I do have something because
Okay.
I was going to bring this up when I was talking about my Lando Corrin list. So something I did to save points with Lando Corrin is drop the proton torpedoes. Do you think that proton torpedoes at 12 points is still worth it on a 3-attack ship? Or should that be saved for 2-attack ships?
That's a very good topic of discussion. Chat, I want to see you tell me what you think, and then we'll come back next game and discuss that. Because they're getting cleaned up. We're going to have another game on here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Which might be me, so let me know
Which
what
might be Ben.
the
Yeah, thank you for
discussion
watching
goes.
this. Stick around. We're going to be here until around 10 p.m. Mountain Time. So stick around. Thank you very much.